So yeah, I just got done with make sure I'm not blocking the microphone there. Just got done with a little run. Look, I am terribly pathetic with my running right now. So my times are up there. My Strava times are up there. I am going to be the king of Knob Hill. Whoever that Kurt Tyler is, dude. I'm coming for that time. Probably already technically have that king of the hill there, but I haven't been running on Strava until these last 3 runs that have been horrible. But so I was kind of thinking, like the difference between cycling and running and what the big difference is, and it's like my cardio is fine, and so when you're cycling, you were heavy. It's heavy on the cardio for a long period of time, like 4 hours. So that's even longer than what I'd probably run. I don't even know what I'd run a marathon in. I have no idea. But you're out there cycling for way longer than what you would do in a marathon. So your lungs and everything is easily conditioned for that long of a period. And cycling is like more demanding on if you're riding if you're trying to ride not with competitively, but competitively for yourself. Like you're pushing yourself pretty hard. It's a lot easier to push yourself hard for longer on a bike than it is when you're running, because running is harder to some degree. But so you easily have the cardio, you easily have the fitness to run a marathon after you get to where you can cycle for 4 or 5 hours or whatever, or even a real hard 3-hour ride. You're easily fit cardio, but there's a lot more impact when you're running. So you definitely gotta condition everything. Everything's got to get used to the amount of impact and the amount of force it takes to, move your body into the next step. Where on a bike, the bike provides structure for your body, so it's not necessarily, even when you're standing nice and vertical on the bike, like a steep climb, which aren't around here, you're still gonna have structure from the bike supporting your aiding in the gravity. You're not going to be as heavy on your legs like when you're running. It's the entire amount of your body weight. So until your muscles get used to that amount of impact and stabilizing and shock absorbing, it's really brutal on, like, my knees hurt right now. Well, they don't hurt, but like they're sore, like I can feel it in my joints. And I'll probably be sore after this run too. I'm still just trying to baby my way through the soreness of running. But one thing that I got these little shoes I got them on eBay, but they're like no drop shoes. So it's pretty close to running barefoot. So if you got kids or whatever, that's why a lot of the world's strong runners are from countries or wherever that didn't typically have shoes when they were children, and they learned to run on the balls of their feet. And if you run around just take off your shoes and go run through your grass, or definitely go run through your house or on concrete, and you're quickly going to see that you do not land on your heel ever. It's like that would be extreme pain and probably break something quickly. So when people get a real thick shoe and they've never really learned running barefoot, you just become a heel striker, and you hit with your heel and then roll off your foot, which is a lot slower. A lot slower for one, and when you hit with that force, I've seen from sports science stuff, videos and stuff, and that you totally jam your hip and jam your knee, and that's why it can be so brutal on your lower extremities and stuff. Is because there's so much unnatural force being applied to ligaments and bones and joints. When you want to keep everything in your muscles. to absorb everything, because your muscles can take it. Your muscles can contract and expand and even tear, and all that. So they're the body organs and body tissues that you need to be using as much as possible in any sport. And so if you run, you get these shoes that don't have any heel. Like the heel is just flat. It's just a flat base all the way around, all the way down the shoe. And just try to run on your toes. Like that whole run, I just tried to run basically on my toes. So about 4 miles on my toes. So my calves are pounding, and you can feel how unnatural it is for you, for your calf muscles to be taking that much pressure and that much work. But really, if you take off your shoes and run, it's the way you naturally run. So your body's not getting adapted. So you do that, and then it's kind of weird. You kind of feel like you're prancing a little bit when you're running, but you start to relax and everything. And I always like to feel like my butt jiggling, and really relax. I want the biggest muscles in my body to be absorbing and functioning during any playing basketball, playing defense on basketball, running, cycling, snowboarding, whatever. You want the biggest, your biggest muscle. You want to be absorbing it, and a lot of people don't know how to use their form of their legs and how much knee flex you need to really activate your glutes. So most people are using the smaller muscles, and they have less power, and they get fatigued quicker. So you really want to focus on, I always say, you put your mind's eye, like try to take your brain when you're meditating while you're doing your exercise, whatever it is, if you can do that. And you just take it to the muscles, or you take it to the joint or wherever it is that you want to focus on, and you just put your mind there until it activates. It gets to a point where you feel like, okay, it's awake, like I'm getting responses. So I put my head in my ass, and very crucial. And one thing I've always learned, I tell this to people in my classes sometimes, that every time in any sport that I've ever done, when I felt like I was doing it right and doing it correctly, I always, and whether I saw a video or somebody else told me, and I'm like, what, like you're not doing it, you're not going far enough with it, you're not squatting enough, or like your knees aren't bent enough. And I'm just like, what? And you're just like, what? It feels like, so always, especially when you're learning, especially when you're training, over-exaggerate every motion. Like when you're playing basketball, like over-exaggerate your arm being vertical and flipping your wrist and getting a ton of spin on the ball and huge arcs. And just whenever you're shooting free throw after free throw after free throw, just drill in using your legs and going up in one motion and putting all the motion and all the strength in your legs. So when you just flick your wrist, it's nice and light, the ball spins well, and you got a nice over-exaggerated arc. And then you'll start to develop good habits, And in cycling, when you're climbing, make sure you got a good squat, when you stand up. People want to get all tall, and people run really tall, and it's really bad on your joints, because then everything's in your knees. Like all that's in your knees, and you want to keep it in your muscles. So yeah, anyway, and the longer you can exercise for, when you start pushing your workouts to 3 to 4 hours, that's when, and that you can still maintain intensity. That's really what has taught me here in the past few months, the stuff that I've never really known or focused on about how important your diet is, and eating clean and eating raw and eating light and eating the right amounts. Make sure you get enough, and eat enough to make it to the workout, eat enough to make it through the workout, and eat enough to where you can start recovering after the workout. So that might even be eating while you're working out, which you do with cycling for sure. You eat while you're working out, and you got to eat as much as you can while you're working out. There's no limits. Really, there's no limits. You won't eat any more than what you can. So eat enough to get to the workout, eat enough to get through the workout, eat enough to be recovering on the other side. Because if you go take a shower or whatever, you come in, you're stretching, it could be an hour before you get any kind of nutrition in, and your body's immediately wanting to, it's still burning. If you've been working out for 4 hours, you're still burning calories. Your body's still going full steam, even if you're not doing anything. So that's why, calorie count and all that stuff is all wishy-washy, man, because you're still burning a ton of calories, but there's no monitor tracking it anymore. It's not your exact weight, it's not your exact metabolism, it's not exactly the food you ate. So counting calories is just bullshit. Just go vegan, start eating raw fruits and vegetables whenever you can, in whatever quantity you can, and when you slip, go to something cooked, some cooked vegan food, but never, ever, 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 ever go to dairy food, honey, or any kind of animal products. It's a waste of your time and a waste of your effort, and it's 2016. It's just, we're getting beyond that. And athletes, I think a lot of athletes are going beyond that, and they're going to start finding out younger. These younger generations got YouTube and all the access to this information that we didn't have when we were kids. So athletes are going to start it a lot earlier and going to be more open to it because so much of the education's out there for it. So you're going to start seeing a lot more athletes doing it. Well, that's my little bit, and maybe I'll do some more running videos and stuff as I get a little bit better shape doing running.